Hello, hello.
Hello. Is everyone here?
No, only 56.
Hello, hello.
Hi, we are back. My name is Dawson.
I'm Jasper here.
So if anyone can hear us, please
Say hi.
say hi or yes. Reply as a yes or hi or
You
whatsoever.
can listen or you can see us.
So we'll be waiting for the rest to join us for our coaching calls.
Part 2.
Part 2, yes, correct. So today's coaching call is not covering a new subject. It's a continue from the last part, the last week where our line is not so stable. All right.
So which is coaching, group coaching course section 2 part B.
Part B, yeah.
Hello everyone.
Hi Jimmy. Yeah.
Hi Jimmy.
Someone's online.
Hi Ethan. Hi Eng. Hi Kim.
Hello.
Hi DT. Hi Wenda. Hi Rina. Hi Raymond. Hi Kwong.
So is it clear or not? How's the volume? Is it clear?
Yes, volume. Wow. Hi Wayfolk.
Okay.
We will try to answer your questions later.
Okay, so JJ can hear in YouTube, but not in this program. Okay, you just keep it on that part.
Hi.
Hi, morning.
Hi Linda. Hi Rosita. So far, okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we wait for another 2 more minutes.
Cecile, maybe you need to log out and log in again. So you try again.
Cecile.
Oh, you also cannot listen to me.
Yeah, Cecile.
You reply to Cecile.
Okay, loud and clear. Thanks.
Okay.
So today will be continue as part B, session 2, because the last session was the unstable in terms of connections. So we will continue the questions based on the last sessions that we have. We will try to cover as much as fast as possible, and we will answer the on false question as well.
So actually, this module we were covering core module 3, mapping the qi within your home, and then the core module 4, eat, sleep, feng shui.
Okay, so let's go through on the slides.
Okay.
If there is any problem, our internal team will help you to answer by that. Okay, so the session 2 on next page, same. We will just cover on the rules, those things. Okay, we skip here. Okay, so let's continue the next questions from Lee. If my room is split into 2 sectors, which is northwest and west, with northwest slightly bigger, I should take the interpretation for northwest, right? That depends on situation, Lee. If your room, I will assume that your room is represented by the bedroom, then you have to check where is the exact location of your bed location. Is it within the northwest or within the west? So if it's within the west, most likely you will receive more of the energy in terms of west. Okay, unless your west is very small part. For example, it's 1 out of 4 quarters in terms of that space, then you will take the reading as the northwest. If your bed location is in the northwest, of course your reading is based on the northwest interpretation. Okay, if northwest is my spiritual palace and the flying star is 8-4, and west is my trial and tribulations palace with the flying star is 7-3, should I read it as for long term? My room is not good for me, and this year is good for me. All right. As I said, that it depends on the situations. Example, if your bed is more likely towards the northwest, then you will use the reading in terms of spiritual palace and the flying star of 8-4. If your bed is reside more into the west location, then you will use the west informations. Now, the information in terms of the reading part, such as long term, short terms, I would say that throughout your life, you will meet with a lot of experience and learning, because the information of the turbulations palace, it represents the possible or potential of the experience that you have learned. So add on the flying star, like 7373 represents a lot of arguments and dispute, a lot of disagreements. That sort of information that give you this insights that represents these experience that you will focus more of, or you will you will face more of this potential of information. Okay, the next question is, so if I want to enhance my wealth instead of spending more time in my room, should I spend more time in other sectors that is more favorable in terms of flying stars? Yes, correct. If you want to, if your focus point is referred to wealth perspective, then you have to refer back to the module 4, the core module 4, which represents by the, if there's a good information or good combinations location, then you use that more. Example, the phasing stars, which is pretty good, like 8, 9, or 1. So that will be one of the choice of the location that you can utilize in terms of wealth perspective. All right. Okay, so next slide. Okay, question from Xin Yun. If you have a mobile business, meaning one in which you work out of rent or truck, okay, how do you do a feng shui assessment? Let's say you rent a property, you can see in your vehicle on a large lot. Okay, so the feng shui requires a stable properties. So when you talk about vans or truck, it's not as stable, it's a portable, it's mobile, so you can't apply feng shui this way. Yep. All right. Okay, so next question. Okay, question from Kenny. I live in a terrace house with rows facing each other. How do I harness qi external flow when there is no greens or water flow? You have learned on the module 3 and module 4. So what you need to do is know the directions and plot the energy charts. Then you know which location of your house is good for certain part. Example, there will be certain location which is good for in terms of wealth perspective. There are certain location which is pretty good in terms of personal studies, personal improvement, or sleeping qualities. So what you need to do is not asking how to harness. You need to plot the chart first. With the charts, it helps you have a further clarity. All right, can you take note on this? Now, question from Kitty. The building that I stay is weird. Okay. No proper entrance, very funny. Okay. I can't do the building calculation because don't know which direction it belongs. Could someone help me? Okay, so Kitty is staying in a in part of Malaysian PJ or Selangor area, which known as the We Residency. Okay, so I will look at this. Oh, I recall this. I did some research. Actually, your property, there are two possible phasing. One of the phasing has 3 blocks. The other one of the phasing is 2 blocks.
Yeah,
so definitely there will be one of the block is facing one. It's not about the entrance to the property, because I believe that the ground floor onwards, there will be further first 7 or 8 floors belong to the car parks area. Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to go. You need to look at the building itself. They are prominent facing. Hopefully you are facing the river, because the river has better in terms of feng shui perspective. The other part, which is the facing the highway, so that will be the facing. So basically there are 2 possible facing. One is facing to the highway, the other one is largely facing to the river. Okay, so take note on this. You need to check which block are you belongs to. All right.
Yeah. Then you can update us.
Yeah. Next.
Kitty.
Okay. Question from Chris. Definition of main door. I have door which I use for going out to the house, into the garden. I use more often than the door I use go out of property into the street. Which door is the main door? Okay, then you need to check, Chris, you need to check two possible. Number one is I'm not sure what is the objective you are referring on the main door or whatsoever door. If you are referring to the example, looking for the charts of the flying stars, which door is active, more of active, I would say both door, because energy does not determine by how much you use it. It determines by two possible. Number one, the size of the door. Number two, the door which is the most obvious from the external perspective, which means when people sees your house, they know which door to come in. It's not determined by you. Okay, so there are two possible. Number one is the size of the door. Usually the larger the door is, the main door it will be represented, because more of energy flows into the property. All right. Okay, question from Petra. I have a question regarding the main door. Okay, namely our main door has negative flying stars, negative internal and external forms. In module 4, it's recommend that in case like we put a screen in front or so that the chi cannot fully affect the occupant inside. Could you please specify what kind of screen? Okay, there are several types of screen. If you are very familiar with the partition, such as the wood partitions or the cabinets, it's also known as the screen. Example, you install a wood cabinet or wardrobes or a wood partitions to block the chi is one of the way. That is the most solid way. Or the other way around is if you know about like Chinese traditions of screen where people always block the view away from other people sees you, that sort of screen also can be applicable, but it's not the most solid. So if you are asking that which one is most effective, the solid one, which means the solid of the partitions. If you ask which one is more convenient, I would say the portable screen. Okay, it depends on what you really want. Okay. Okay, question from Lai Get. Are period 7 house sitting stars and facing stars in each sectors of the house same as period 8? Yearly flying stars. I'm not sure what are you trying to indicate this. However, period 7 house position of the flying stars positioning is totally different from the period 8. As you can see, also period 8 is totally different from period 1. Okay, so if you're sitting on the period, if your house is period 7 house, then it's represented by period 7 house. But each year there will be yearly flying stars flying in. So that could it could be your question is, does it represent the same stars as the flying the yearly stars? It does not, because the yearly stars, it will be here for 1 year and then it will fly away the next year. So there will be different stars comes in. Okay, so if you are on the line, then please clarify your questions. I'm not sure whether I've answered it correctly. Okay. Question from Veronica. Can you explain the grid that Joey shows on the lessons, blah, blah, blah. So the superimposed, the study room is not divided equally. The media sections based on number 495 are about half size. Okay, so your question is about the so into anal in terms of the dividing the energy. Let me ask you, how do you know the dividing of the energy is that sort of solid? Even I can't tell you. because the dividing the space or separating the space, you can't separate it. We can roughly guesstimate that towards to the corner is the corner of energy, towards the center is center of energy, towards the other corner is the other side of energy. So when you try to divide, to be very specific, it means that you know that the energy is there, but how do you tell? Even I also can't tell. So my final answer to you is, the more you stick to the corner, then you receive more of corner energy rather than the center energy. The more you stick to the center energy, then you will receive the center energies. All right?
Okay, Cat. If my house wall is solid 7 feet tall, no see-through, is called a blockage to my front door. The answer is no, because if let's say the house wall is tall, is more than, I think, like a building, then that one could be the blockage. And then some more, I think you have the house wall, you also have the gate, right? Because your gate is not sealed, so it's not considered a blockage.
Yeah. So let me add on this point. When you say a solid wall means it's internal, right? Our aspect is internal. So if it is internal, then it's not a blockage. If you say it's external, that could be possible. But I will assume that your house is represented by the landed property. Okay. So if landed property means external, it cannot be. There will be the wall which is right in front of your doors. So if there's in front of the door, then you need to consider how far is it. Is it more than 2 persons? Because in the old days, we always look at the Chinese verse. They say that the further it is, the better better of the bright hall. What they call it is internal bright hall. Then one of the client asked this scholar, how far is further? In the old days, they always say that if you can fit more than like 10,000 horses, then consider it's good. So how do you calculate based on the 10,000? It means that the further it is, the better it is. Okay, but that is referred to the external. Okay, if internal, that could be a different usage, such as like the previous question when we say that if the door is reserved as the negative energies, then the door which the solid wall which block and redirect the energy is one of the good solution for that sort of problem.
Yeah, okay. That's why in Chinese traditional, all the buildings you can see, they have called it what the 4 happiness, like a garden. Every house also will be we call it bright hall in feng shui. So actually for us is open space. So open space will be gather the qi as well.
Right. Okay, question from Barbara. My landed home has an attached garage and the door most frequently used enter and exit. So as we use our car most of the time when we leave the house, so it is the qi irrevocably blocked. Also, my view out from that door is into garage. But if I open the garage door, I have view of street. Do I use that view with the garage door? Okay. So your question is, which is your main door? I would say it is the garage door. Okay. The reason is very simple. If your garage is being covered by the wall of your house as well, then it's considered part of your house. So the garage door will be the main door to your house. If the garage is not part of your house, where in Malaysia we always see the garage that is not covered as all, it's not part of the wall, it's not covered by part of the wall in our house, then it's not considered. Then the actual main door to the house is the door, it's not the garage. All right. Okay, question from Milani. For all high-rise building in Paris, for example, where they have been always residents, okay, since 1860, which is period 1, or since period 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do we use those period or consider that they should be period 8. Now, to answer these questions, it depends on a situation. Number one, if the building has been emptied out, which means that whenever they will be renew the building, I know in terms of the external wise they can't change, but internally if they have big change where requires all occupants move out from this property, then a new period will be considered. If it's not, while you're doing renovations and some other people who have been stayed here, they haven't moved out since the years, then you consider the period where it's belonged to 1860s, for example. All right. So for the stove, do we prefer good stars in the kitchen and upon a small Tai Chi, which is but star 6 and 9 should be not considered delicate to be on the stove. Now, if the stove is reside in the location where the good energy such as 1, 6, 8, 9, it's good, it's preferable. 6 and 9, it's also considered okay. You still can use it. By the way, if the stars of 3 and 4 means facing star 3 and 4, it's also applicable to use because 3 and 4 is represented by the wood element. So you still can use the energies, or still can use the sectors. Is a good direction is a bit more important than not having the door. Okay, this question is referring to number 1, the interior feng shui, and number 2 is personal directions. Both also equally important, but if you have to choose one of it, please choose the interior design that is not against. Okay, example, if your bed is next to the door, that is a no-no thing, even though that is one of your good directions. Unless you are able to mitigate this interior design issue, then you still can face back to your favorable directions. Okay. Do we avoid put center island in because it's stuck the center of the room? Depends on situation. All right. We don't prefer to have stove at the island table or the center island. As long as the stove is not located at the center, or is being the corner of the center is clashing the stove, the center is okay. All right. Unless you felt that the center island is very troublesome or is very causing the kitchen space is very tight, then you may consider to remove it. All right. Do you use palettes of following rooms in the chi distribution, or do you keep the star stopping in the middle of I need to know what is the questions that we're referring, because by asking this question, it does not mean anything to us. So we need to have the clearer questions in terms of like what do you use palettes of following room chi, or do you keep the star stopping in middle of the room? I don't understand the concept of the questions unless you're referring that, oh, does the center energy of the house, or with the center box of the house, is it usable or not? Then I would say it's a no.
Yeah.
Because we only have 8 directions or 8 locations. The center box is represented by the itself in terms of information for the whole house, but it does not represent certain usage. All right. Okay, on next.
Okay, next question from Cornelia. When we have a missing corner in the northwest, can the flying star still be applied? Answer is no, because your missing sector already means your house will have northwest flying star. And then second question, when you live in an apartment and this apartment have a missing corner, let's say in the northwest, but a whole high-rise building in the northwest isn't missing, can the flying star still can be applied to that apartment? Answer is no, right?
The answer is no. The reason is very simple. When you're staying in the apartment, out of example 200 units, you're only able to use one of the units.
Yeah.
So that is belong to your space. If you're referring to landed property, where the ground floor or mean the lower floor, which is fully covered, there's no missing, but the upper floor is missing, that is not counted as missing, because this where you stay or landed property is belong to your space. What I'm trying to say is, if it is belong to yours where you can control or you can use, that means it's within you. It's belong to your what you have. So if you are staying in the apartment, it's something that you cannot control. When you something cannot control means that not all units are occupied by you. You have your own space only. So we will take it as the missing sectors.
Yes. Okay, third questions. We don't look at the house and life bar sector of the house, only on the flying star.
We do include. It's just that we haven't covered this subject. So, however, that's why Joey used this Shren Kung Flying Star is because of one purpose. Shren Kung Flying Star or Flying Star method, it's all about the fast result, where the results takes very short time. It will see the results. If you're talking about the house or life gua, it refers to two possible. Number one, long-term perspective, which means where you think of staying here, this location takes for more than 10 years, which is your plan. Or the other way around is number two, if you are planning to start from scratch, which means you're going to construct or build a house, then the house or house gua or 8 mansions application is the main priority instead of the house flying stars. All right. So the last question is, there's stable wall behind. What is the maximum distance? How near you have to sit to the wall? There's no specifics. As long as it is not too far away, or it is not too close where you can't sit into the desk to do your works. Okay. Okay. Same for Cornelia. What if you live in a high rise but the condominium hasn't got a balcony? Do you take the apartment door or high rise entrance? The apartment door, I would say. Basically, the main door, and there will be doors where you will be entrance. There will be a balcony. Balcony is a bonus point. So if you don't have the balcony, that means you can't make use of the bonus points. You still use the main door. Okay. When there are negative stars at the main entrance, but it's also blockage, then the chi comes in to activate. But does this mean also that there is no chi circulation for the whole house? The answer is no. Now, the blockage means that there is no space for the energy coagulate or the converge into that area. So when you say that the energies in the main door is negative, so the chi will just and there's also very tight in terms of space. The energy will redirect the flows to a bigger points or bigger space, so that they can coagulate or they can collect in that specific area. It could be that specific area has a bigger in terms of the good stars. That is good. So it depends on the situation. If in other way around, if the energy is good but you have tight space, means that the energy cannot collect in the good space. What I'm trying to say, good space is represented by the good combinations, then the good stars. So that will be a slight effect in terms of not receiving a good energies. You will still receive energies, but the question is, the energy is good or not good. All right. Every person has a personal life gua. Is this also a protecting stars for this person in Feng Shui? For example, a person life gua 5, meaning star 5 in his house facing, setting stars and no stars. Does it have to fear negative impact? I would say no for this, because we have we need to understand the concept of the theory in terms of your personal life gua meeting with the stars number which is aligned with you. They have different kind of the explanation and different kind of the interpretations. However, we haven't covered this, so stay tuned on the later part. Okay, the last question is personal animal sign sector in the house. What if your animal sign is in facing or sitting directions? So in this case, sitting or facing is clash to you would be bad. Rat and horse, so facing north, south too. What can we do in such case? You can't do anything. If so happens that unlikely you are born in the rat year and your house is facing north, which is sitting south too, and is clashing with the horse, it means that the house energy is not aligned with you. So there will be a lot of clashing. What kind of clashing is personal happiness, personal fulfillment? So that will be the things that you will face. Do we have solutions? To be honest, there will be no solutions because you can't change the land, you can't change the house orientation unless you rebuild it and change the orientation. All right. Okay, so question from P.S. Lee, if a sector has the same flying star number and for sitting, how should the sector be managed? Is it contra activation, isn't it? So activating, okay, so what you're trying to say is, for example, if the period, if your your house period is period 8 and then you will have double 8 at one of the sector. So basically, yes, the answer is you will be either activating one and deactivate the other one. Okay, but let's look at the further things. We are not only have one good stars, we have many good stars. Example, if you can't use the star 8, can you use the star 9? If you can't use the star 9, can you still use the star 1? So they are good stars, not only one stars. Yes, it is the most prosperous stars, but you need to understand the concept of reality. This space is able to use as what sort of activity? If it is belong as a bedroom, means you will use as a bedroom. So the sitting star will be activated. Automatic, the facing star will not be activated. Okay. The other way around, as for example, if externally there is a mountain in the sectors where it belongs to these sectors, so automatic the sitting star will be activated rather than the facing stars. But we also have the other good stars, right? So try not to stick yourself into one point. Make yourself have more options that you can use. All right.
Okay. Question from Cedric. After drawing 24 mountain rings onto my house, there is overlapping of chi 4 rooms. 20% of master room chi overlap into my study room. I am always at my study room where I'm sitting at the 20% of the north chi, but 80% of my study room belongs to northeast chi. Am I activating my bedroom or study room? Do we have very precisely, or we just go in with the room we are in? So depends, because you said you have more activity in your study room. So where is your study table belongs to? 20% or the 80%? You get what I mean? So if let's say, because you will have more activity sitting on your study table, so you need to look at it, where is it from. So actually you no need to, if let's say your table is at the 20%, so you activate the 30% chi. Okay, is it correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so second question. After I strand the 24 mountain into my study room small Tai Chi, my table covers northwest, west, and southwest, and resulting one table got 3 smaller sector with own positive, negative sitting stars. I'm confused which sector of flying star I should be using.
Okay, so in this related issues, example, I'm not sure that whether how big is your study room.
Yeah.
So when you say that it's covered 3 space, I will assume that your table is very big. Then you have to consider that where do you sit?
Singapore, I think.
Okay, so it's where do you sit, the most important things.
Yeah.
So if you sit towards more of center, there's also it will be a center box. If you sit more towards the right side or left side, that will be for example, is a northwest, west. Okay, so if you sit at the side, left side, it will be more of southwest. If you sit to the right side, it's more of northwest. So it's not about, as I think as I have covered this, it's not about how accurate you split up the energy. It's about how towards to left side or center or the right side of the space that you receive or you are positioning. Okay. Okay. So the third question.
Third question. In Singapore, most of us lives in high-rise apartments where the facing view is often other apartments. There is no mountain or rivers, which such external forms, but we can focus on to make the best out of it. Singapore external form.
Okay. In largely, I would say that the Singapore actually they have a good view. However, you are staying in the view where it is limited. So since it is limited, then you just use the energy which you have plotted the charts without looking at the external forms. Okay, because external forms represents by bonus points. It is good if you can see, but you can't see means what you need to do is use whatever application you have or you can.
Yeah.
All right.
Tina, I have a bed located in South Sector with 3-5 Flying Star that is attached onto the garage and neighbor house. Only in the distance there is a hill with open field and pylons running through. I could use a spare room with a bed that has 8-1 combination of Flying Star and is facing the road and house. But this room has beams and slanted ceiling. Which sector is better to sleep in? Which it's come to Kling Chi. Both also, I think, also have the advantages and the disadvantages.
Yeah, I agree also.
Yeah, if
you say that only distance there will be a hill with open fields
and pylon.
So means the hill is not is it high enough or is it a small hill where it's the further away it's only the open fields. So we need to understand the situations. If you say there is a field which you are staying the bed location where it's 3-5 is not to say it's bad. It just represents that where people staying there, their own attitude, their own character is a bit aggressive. They are more towards into the unstable lifestyles. They're more towards to the adventurous lifestyles. So it doesn't mean it's bad. You need to understand that what kind of character you are suited in, then you sleep in which room. So when you see the pylons, of course, pylon is not good, but we will see the distance first. If the distance is quite far away, example, it's maybe 1 mile away or 2 miles away, which means in Malaysia it's like 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers away. It's quite small, the size that we don't consider that is a problem. Okay, so if you're looking at the bed which has the 8-1 combinations, Flying Star is good in terms of energies. However, this room has a ceiling slanted and a beam, right?
Yeah.
So if you can change the design, the interior setup, where there will be no beams or slanted ceilings, this room is good to use.
Yeah.
But if you can't change, then the combination of this 8 and 1 can be a problem because it turns into a negative in terms of energies. All right. So you need to decide it. So the bedroom where you're sleeping now, or the new room which is 8-1 combinations.
Right? Maybe the 8-1 you can cover up the beams.
Yeah, you can cover up beams, or make sure your bed should not be located under the beams.
Yeah.
Or possible is your bed head should locate higher ceiling instead of lower ceiling part.
Yeah.
But that depends on interior design. So you need to decide it. All right.
Okay.
Okay, question from Joanne. Module 4, page 3, test for people who are unable to change their main door because it affected negative energies next thing. Okay, so the question is, can the screen be fabric? Okay, it's nothing about the screen designs. What I'm trying to say, the screen can be as a solid in terms of partition or in terms of cabinets. it's up to you. Okay, so your question is, I've answered it through it. If it's a glass, it means it's a glass you can see through, so it does not consider. If it's frosted, yes, frosted can be considered because it's not seen through. The see-through is like, it's not because of the glass is seen through. It is because of the people's view. Okay, where energies that you can see through means that it can possible in terms of to people aspect, it still can go through. So frosted glass can be one of the solutions. Right?
Very specific.
Okay, next. Okay, question from Jordan as well. So page 5, stand the door look upwards. Question is it bad to face directly neighbor door, column, a lift door, or a common staircase, place, water, swimming pool, BBQ pits, cross junction? I think you know the answers already because these all are negative. Right? So look inwards, the main door facing bad, it's facing balcony or living room's window. Okay, face display console in front of the features wall. If distance is an issue, please advise. Face an A4 size painting wall partitions. Distance issues. Okay, so the 3-1, it is an issue. 3-2, it might not be an issue because I can't imagine what kind of the features wall. 3-3 is not an issue. 3-4, it's not an issue. 3-5, it is not an issue in terms of functional perspective, but it might be some issue in terms of your personal psychology wise, because nobody going to do this, right?
Okay.
Okay, next question is from Leong. I have a problem on deciding the directions of my flat. It is not straightforward, like facing the main road. My concern is my determination of my flat direction is wrong. Will I be activating the wrong sectors of the house? My concern is valid. Right. So it is not facing straightforward to the main road. Okay, there will be a lot debate in terms of this. Now, my application is very different. It's either I can use the building facade, which means the building facing, or if you can't find the building facade or facing, what you can do is the entrance facing, which means the lobby entrance, where there will be one of the lobby is facing to the certain directions. Use that directions. It's one of the way. Joey always use this application where he can't see the obvious of the building facade, because nowadays condominiums, they can be in 4 directions. So every direction also can be one of the facade. So because they have the balcony, so they can't determine where is the facing. Then we will decide the building lobby entrance door will be the facade of the building facing. So there are many applications. Even a couple of days ago, I went to one of the condominiums or the apartment where they have 3 possible of the facade, but there's one is not a facade. So that could be a the backing of the building. So I will look the other way around. That could be the other way around will be the facade. For example, the building is facing, the land orientation is facing northwest, for example, facing northwest, but I see from the northwest of the building, there is no balconies. There are no design in terms of facade. So I will look the other way around, which means opposite of northwest is southeast. So I go to the southeast and look at the facade, it's confirmed, and the southeast has a door entrance. Then I will just confirm that this building will be facing southeast directions. All right?
Okay. Next question from Wei Lin. Napping the cheek. If the condominium were living room wall diagonally opposite to the bedroom, kitchen, the condo design as a octagon shape when we view from outside. I think this condo is very famous in Kepong area.
Is it?
Yeah, because in Kepong area, there we have the condominium is
octagon size.
Octagon size.
This shape lah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's size like aqua.
Ah, okay.
So actually, I do have one student staying inside there. Actually, octagon, and then they will have split into few units into their house. So when I draw his floor plan, actually is a lot of missing sector that one cannot change already.
Okay.
Okay. So your question is, I am sure how to draw the center of the house. Then can you please advise? So normally we will, if you draw a square, you will be see a lot of missing sector of at outside. So this building is a bit problem lah, the design, because must be have a lot of missing sector already. So secondly, if the condo consists of multiple building, do we find the building direction on based on the unit that I'm staying? So this one is based on the unit that you stay in. This building, if you are staying that in Kepong area, that one, actually they have two facing. You just find the at the in front one, which is the car drop by that one, because behind one I remember is the letter box. So you find that in front, that one will be your direction of building.
So many good design. Okay, question from Colin. When getting the degree of the high-rise building, we are taking into considerations of the whole building. So we need to locate the center of the building, such as the lobby, and measure the degree by standing at the center. No need. This is one of the applications, but however, if you find that the building the degree measurement is not aligned, or it's run off, I would suggest you to walk out of the building and stand away, slightly a bit away from the building, and do the measurements. All right, because it could be because of the magnetic fields influences that causing the wrong readings. All right.
Okay. Next.
Okay, so DT, the high-rise condominium block has basement entrance as well as the level 1 entrance. Both entrances are resided in different sectors. The whole block can only be seen at level 1, where pathway is leading to the swimming pool. Basement entrance cannot see the whole block from here, but the entrance is leading to the spacious car park. Am I right to take level 1 entrance where the grand signage, the block shows the plot? Yes, you are right. Why? So clever. Okay, good DT.
Good DT.
Okay, question from Henry. A mirror beside the bed points to wall and not windows can be categorized as good or bad. Now, as long as the mirror is not facing to the bed where it can reflect to the bed, then it's not a problem. Okay. So question 2 is, if we sleep at the bed that is in the middle of the north, east, and east, can both chi affect us? Example, how about if the head is east, body as the northeast,
husband as east,
husband is east.
So means it's in the middle, the bed.
Oh, okay. Now, if you are referring, example, if this is the bed, let me pull this.
Never mind, I put it on screen.
Okay. So let us put it on screen. Example. So this is the bed. If the line of the north, east, and east is in between this line, this is the bed head, this line, this is not good. All right. If you're referring that the northeast and east line in between is like this, where the bed head is here, which the head for sleeping, then this is not a problem. Okay, I repeat that. If the line in between is here, not so good. You need to realign the bed. If the line in between the east and northeast is here, this is not a problem. Okay. Okay, let's continue back to the slide. Okay, next question.
Ron.
Okay, question from Veron. HDBs, does painting the entire building facade consider changing? No, the answer is no, because there are still people staying inside the building, so it does not consider changing of the period.
Color does not affect anything?
Yeah. For HDBs in Singapore, we have upgrade program like renovating the toilet area of the entire building, sometimes more lift, lobbies, anything that does not involve you to move out from your house or move out from the building, that is considered not changing period. But you need to understand, what is the purpose you want to change the period? Is it because of the new energy comes in, you will feel better? Actually, it's not. Each period of charts, they have their own strength and weakness, even for period 8. Example, for all period 8 facing south or north or east or west, you will have two sectors which we don't really like, which has the combination or the reading of the 2-5 or 5-2 combinations in one of the two sectors. We don't really like these combinations because it brings a lot of hindrance and the problem. But among of this, only period 8, if possible, only period 8 has this problem. If you see the other periods, example, where I'm saying is period 7. So period 7, they have one very special combination, which is called the HER2 combination chart. So this is very good in terms of building networks if you are doing related networks or the online business, or in terms of the connecting with people, public relationship. This house is very good that they have special structures. All right. So not all periods are bad, and does not mean the new period is good. You need to understand that. So in all period chart of the house, you will still see there will be star 8s, sitting star 8s, facing star 8, sitting star 9, facing star 9s. What you need to do is identify where is this location, and then you make use of the area. Please don't be stressed because of changing period. It makes you better. It does not mean this way. All right.
Next question from BL. With regards to building orientation, one side of the building faces the expressway while the other side is where we normally drop off from our vehicle. Which side do we take as the main facing? For me, I could think that is the expressway. Expressway. Normal drop off.
Now, that depends on the situations. if the building facing to the expressway has a prominent facade, that could be the orientation of it. Like I say just now, where I mentioned to you that where I went to one of the property selections. If you are Malaysians, you will know this name called Dua Manjalara. It's at the Kepong area as well. So when you go inside, you will see it's a wall design. It's not built as the balcony design. So I know from there, I know that the phasing is not the facade. It will be the other way around. It could be the other side of the building. So when I go there and check, it is a prominent facade with the lobby entrance. So I would take that as the main facade. All right. So there will be building that specially designed in terms of their phasing. It could be maybe the signage. It could be the building top building. There's a rooftop that will be signage in it. It could be the entrance of it. So you need to decide where is it. What is the prominent phasing? All right. Okay. Question from Donna. How do trees surrounding one's home play a part in feng shui? Energy when there are no mountains. Now that depends on the situation. If the trees is quite distance away, it is good in terms of the energy circulations within your house environment or house space. If it is too close or too tight, it creates two potential problems. Number one, there are no space collections. Number two, where the tree grows too wide, or the trees or leaf is too much leafy, it creates a yin sha. Yin sha means there's no energy, sunlight comes in, so it creates a more of in terms of sickness related issues.
Okay, question from Vincent. How to handle space that map to two sector? I think this question we have already answered.
Yep. So refer back.
Linda, if main door have staircase opposite and positive flying star, how should we deal with it? If main door have staircase Main door have staircase.
Opposite means main door is facing the staircase, and positive stars. How should that be dealt with? Settle it. You have to separate the staircase and the main door, because where the staircase is in front of main door, basically all energy flows out.
Yeah.
So maybe you can put a screen there. All right.
Maybe at the door.
At the door.
Partition.
Partition also.
Yeah, partition. Yeah. Okay, next, Margaret.
What is the main door facing when you install an enclosure with a door that in the area from existing main door to partial steps? Okay, so refer to page 34. Is it still facing the side, or it is now facing the main road? Now, it depends on what kind of door design that you have. If you are looking for the, like example, grill doors, I will not take as the new main door facing. So if it's a solid one, such as like wood door, that's like full close, then I will consider that could be the one of the new door already. Okay. Is there a change in period when only the whole top layers roof shims are replaced? The plywood layers, same house. Okay, so this is also same. It's required changing in the periods. I'm not saying to not encourage you to change. You can change. It depends on what you actually want. Now, if changing the rooftop is more than 3 months or 100 days, that is considered the changing of period. If it's not, then it's not considered. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, question from Karen about the internal negative forms. If a bay window that is an extension in the house considered a saw chi, is it form a 90-degree junction of two walls, creating portion room? So if so, do we just try to block the important room like the bedroom, office, kitchen, or we should also pay attention to the living room and dining room? It's not in terms of the design of the bay windows, unless the window that you are mentioning is like a solid thing. It's like solid where you can't see through. Where you can't see through, it could be part of the issues. Okay, if you can see through, then I won't take it as issues. But if you felt that it is not comfortable, yes, you can do some changes. All right. About form affecting the bed for a cathedral ceiling house. If a bed has a slanted ceiling that started from 8 feet,
or up to the highest point in your house.
Okay, so is it still negative? It is a negative because the energy is not stable. Why is it not stable? Because when you talk about, when you refer that it's height and then close to the ceiling top, I would consider, in my imagination, I would consider it is a fire element. So fire element is not a stable space for you to stay. That's why we prefer flattened top. So it's more like the earth shape or square shape, more in terms of stable energies. Next.
Karen as well.
Okay, question from Karen as well about chi mapping. If there are rooms in the basement floor, do we also do the chi mapping for that floor or undergo
floor? Doesn't count.
It does count. It does count. So it's not about the energies fractions. It's about the sunlight. So make sure there are enough sunlight comes in through the underground, or else then you have to create such more of the bright lights at the underground. Okay. About house period. If the house has several previous owners and one of the owners left the house for more than 100 days and we did not know it, the period of the house will end up being wrong. How do we deal with these situations when we don't know for sure if the roof has been removed or if the house has been left for more than 100 days? If you can't be sure, I'll give you the final answer. Use the current period.
Yeah. Use the period you move in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Question from Lynn. If a ceiling fan at the front of the door.
I think this one we already covered on last part 1, part A.
Yeah. So Irene, if the house sector is associated with fire, and is it correct that the kitchen should be located in the south sectors of the home, regardless facing or sitting? Not really. It can be in any one of the sectors.
Yes.
So don't worry about this. The kitchen is located in the north sectors of the house, and this cannot be changed. Is it correct that it ideally located in the south? No. The answer is no. In the mapping of the chi of the home, how accurate must the compass be reading? So, example, if an east 1 facing is wrongly mapped as east 2, will this give a wrong chi mapping? Actually, if you look through the whole flying star chart of the east 1 facing and east 2 facing, their difference is not so much. So when you are using when you are using in terms of like which chart should I use? Actually, both chart can be used in terms of, because their energy is not much in terms of difference. Okay, but if you want to know in terms of which chart will be slightly more accurate, then you can try to use certain location or certain sectors. Then you will know what is the effect. Right? Okay. Question from Vladeta. If somebody's bed head share with a bathroom, specifically toilet, does it influence his or her health? Should you move a bed? Now, I think you all have the concept of the bathroom that you should not face your bed head should not face to the bathroom wall. If I'm not mistaken, your concept of this. Now, in the old days, there is no bathroom in a bedroom. So when they see a bathroom, they will consider it's a bad thing. Now, it is considered a bad thing if the wall is behind the wall of the bathroom is a bathtub, example. So that will be my considerations. If it's not a bathtub, then I will not take it as a problem, because bathtub is represented by the yang energies. So if you are referring to the health condition, I would say no, because it's still a solid wall. All right. Door that see another door, entrance to back. If it is a negative energy, it means entrance. The entrance, does it matter? It goes in and goes out. Should we pay any attention in this case? If you see from front door to the back door, it means the energy will just flow straight. There will be no circulation within the house. So we don't prefer to see from front door to back door, right? In period 9, all palaces have combination of 9, 9, and the rest is 4, 5, 8, 1, 3, 6, 7, 2 combinations. That all up is 9. How bad or good is it? We don't add this numbering. It's not about add or subtract or minus. It is a combination, which means 7-2 represents special communication. 7-2 also represents special structures. 8-1 represents certain good in terms of business perspective, because 8 represents cash flow or in terms of wealth perspective. The 1 represents normal people. Wealth also represents resource. So there will be a combination of this. It does not mean that 8 plus 1 is 9. It's not that sort of calculations. 8 plus 1 can also be 99, because 8 and 1 is a combination of multiply. It's not add on or minus. All right. How combination of star influence of the space if there is a lot of open space, meaning the stars are mixing each other's, basically they don't have age or stop define them. How are you implementing the flying stars? It is interpreting or implementing according to your area where you use. Example, if you are using west area, then the west reading energy will be included. If you are using the southwest area, it will be a southwest reading part. All right. Okay, next. Okay, question from Vladeta as well. If you are not on a property for more than 100 days, but property is being occupied with other people unrelated to you, when you come back, does it Does the property have the same period? Yes, it is. When you rent a property, a house or short time, between the 6 month, what period you should adopt on that property? You use back when you are the house is being occupied, unless the house or landed property is being emptied for more than 100 days. Then it considered a new period change, or else then it's a same period. What do you do if the compass reading is on the edge of between two different palaces? I'm not sure what is the two different palaces means. It could be means in between the east and southeast, for example. Then you have to stand further away to check the more of accurate reading part. So it could be jump into east or jump into southeast only. All right. Okay. So next. Okay. Question from Jen.
Question from Jen. I'm facing a problem to determine the facing of my flat. Stuck here and unable to proceed further. I'm living in an open flat, no guard house, no fencing, and able to access to my direction if walking. However, entrance for car into the flat, there will be 3 areas. 1, inner route entering a small open space car park. No. 2, routes enter from the main route into open area, which includes facade, fencing, upfield, open space car park. However, this area 10 years ago was a playground and no tar road. Nowadays, tar road was built in the house in the open area for parking. We shall show you the picture. Okay, so I would say that the determine your facing, you need to base on the second one. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
The second one.
More of yang.
Yeah, more activities. So second one will be your entrance facing area. Okay, next.
Okay, question from Wei. I'm getting confused with the recent release module plotting your chart during the live Q&A. I'm living in a high-rise apartment which is in Period 6. I bought it three years ago. Left it vacant for 4 months before I did a major renovation. Remove all the floor tiles, blah blah blah. So therefore, my unit considered Period 8. I think the concept is very straightforward. If you're staying in a high-rise building where people have moved in since a long time ago, then you still using the Period 6 instead of Period 8. Okay. Okay, Carmen, for old house which has no floor plan because we couldn't find it, can we still apply feng shui without floor plan? If yes, of course.
You can draw your floor plan.
Yeah. No worry.
You can draw your floor plan. Okay, next. Melody.
What to do in cases that a bedroom is not favorable to use, even if one resort to apply small tai chi, as there are violations, and other room option is not good too. Would you recommend sleeping in the living rooms? No. There are a lot of solutions we can provide. You see, the energy tells us potential of the event or potential of the one character has been changed. It is not the energies that causing the entire life of you as being disturbed. It's about the energies, influences, and you need to understand the energies and how you will cope with it. All right. Example, it's about the star 2, sitting star 2 of the bed location. Sitting star 2 can be represented by you are very into keeping all things between you. You are not willing to clean up all things, or you might have the so-called untidy problem. So that could be the issues. All right. Okay.
Next question is from Victoria. I'm staying in high-rise and there are other high-rise nearby. I would like to know if the edge or corner of the other buildings are sort of pointing to your block. So this will be affect the Sachi. So that's why if let's say you want to solve this problem, so normally we will advise our customer when you sleep, then you need to close the window or you need to put a very thick curtain to avoid the sachi coming in. Thanks.
Okay, when I'm standing in front of my main door, it is facing road T junction. Okay, the road is slightly sloped towards my house. Okay, the right side of the junction are the child's house and the left side of the park. Okay, the T junction is mainly used for is it considering a negative form of feng shui? My balcony is facing a good, nice mountain. Okay, if you're referring to landed properties, then it's not a bad feng shui, first thing of all, because all feng shui can be there are certain feng shui can be cured in terms of when we are looking at the external landforms. So in your case, it is not a bad feng shui. Okay.
Okay. Next, for Freeman.
Freeman.
When I'm mapping the chi within my house, I notice sign written, nobleman sign, peach blossom, sky horse. All this will be covered on our coming module.
Yeah, I think it's between
Covered
7, 8, or 9.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's
Not yet.
between 7, 8, or 9.
Yeah, 7,
Stay
8, or
tuned
9.
on this.
Okay.
Okay, Sam Kwan, I'm going to move into my new house at the end of the year 2018, and I know the period 8 now. Does it mean that when it comes to 2024, my house will need to map into period 9? No, unless you have moved out of the landed property. It's not the high rise. Okay. Okay, will a lamppost located across the land 30-40 feet causing the sharp? Yes, if it is right in front of the property, it will be part of the potential sharp that you will be facing. All right. Okay, next. So, question from Wei: if the east sector is missing, does it mean that it's good that good landforms in the east sector's direction will have no effect to good feng shui and at all? No, the question is no. The external landforms is external landform. The missing east sector means the east sector's energy readings or energy interpretation is missing. So you cannot use the east sector. Example, if your east sector has star 8 in terms of phasing star or sitting stars, but you are missing east, means you cannot, in the reading part, the east sector is missing, so star 8 is missing, so that could represent your personal health has problem or your personal wealth and accumulation has an issues. But it has no relation to the east sector's external landforms. The external landform will tell you that how good does this star represent. All right.
Okay.
If the northeast sector is slightly smaller, so not more than 1/3, is it considered as present? No, it's considered as weakening. So your northeast location of the house is weak compared to other sectors, right?
Next question from SK. I live in a 39th floor condo. From the top of my condo, I see 3 lakes at southwest, east, northwest, and northeast of the condo, and mountain and east, northwest, and west and northeast of the condo, both with no obstruction and direct line or inside. However, from the balcony of my unit, I only can see the lake and mountain located at east and northeast. The rest of the features are not viewable from my unit as it blocked by the corridor wall. My question is, when this comes to receiving the chi from nature, do I look at the entire condo building as a whole that receive the chi, or do I look at what my unit in the condo can receive the chi based on my direct line of sight? Will the chi received by me be reduced as a result of the feature that blocked by the corridor and wall? Actually, if let's say you say like this, and then I will say that you have received the chi, but the one thing is 39th floor, you need to look at the mountain. Is it too high?
The height of the mountain.
Yeah, the height of the mountain means your eyesight from you stand on your corridor, the balcony, and then maybe you look up. Is it your eye level, the mountain? Because sometimes you stay at the 39th floor, and then could be the mountain at the you can see is at the at the lower bit,
part.
lower part. If lower part will be benefit to the lower floor.
So what Jasper is trying to say is you need to check whether the mountain is same height as your floor or higher than your floor. If that is considered of these two, then the mountain is considered good, number one. If it's lower, then it's not considered as part of your what you can see as mountain, because you're staying in 39th floor is quite high, you know. So in any mountain is lower than you, then it's not considered mountain to you. It could be a mountain to other floors, which is lower. The second part is where you can see there are mountain or water surrounding. It does mean that you still can receive, but the quality is lesser compared to the features where you can see very clear and it is visible. So one is visible. Visible means that stronger effect. Not able to see, but you know there are mountains or water surrounding. It does mean it is affected or activated, but the quality is lesser compared to where you can see obvious. Correct? Okay, Neri, how are we going to plot a chart for a landed house that has a master room in mezzanine floor? Same, it's the same methods. Okay, so per my understanding, my main door facing can measure the specific degree. However, I don't think the orientation of the house can be specific degree. Kindly guide me. I can plot the right house chart, input and requirement in JY function X applications, blah 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 blah. Okay, so there is a degree. I believe in the cheat sheets notes, you will see that there are degree between certain degrees to certain degrees for South 1, certain degrees to certain degrees in the South 2. Yep. So you need to look back at the actual notes. Or else then you can go to our website to check on the cheat sheet notes. All right? Okay, so next. Okay, so question from Carol. When building a house or designing a floor plan, what should we prioritize, personal favorite sectors or flying star? There will be a mixture. You need to look at the mixture one. Okay, so the flying star is I will put the 8 mentioned as the first priority. The flying star will be secondary, and then the personalized will be the third. But if we say do we need to prioritize, there's no prioritized way. It's all about importance, because you need to know that living a house is not an end result, it's a journey. So the journey brings you certain happiness. There will be also certain unhappy events. All right. Victor from Vietnam, a mixed shop complex. Yeah, it's from Vietnam. Right? Victor,
maybe
Vietnam.
The name is Victor Vietnam.
Oh, okay. Victor, Vietnam. Okay, a mixed shopping complex facing north to with a rooftop swimming at 10th floor. Okay, so the question is what? Okay, facing north, obvious the facade of the shopping center, grand, massive water grace. Okay, so for reference, busy 5 lanes. Okay, so answer 1, building facing.
Please consider if both answer is correct.
Okay. So your consideration is whether the answer first answer and second answer is correct or wrong. Okay, so the building first facing to west 2 or east 2 is based on the roof and having shade. No, it's based on the facade. The building facing is based on the facade. The answer 2, the building facing should be north 2, follows the whole complex as it shared the same single foundation. It depends if your entrance to the residential building is within the complex space, then it's considered. If the building or residential building has its own lobby entrance, then it has its own facade. The complex is different facade. The building, the residential building has its own facade if it has their own lobby entrance and the externally. All right. Okay, next question from Marcus Toto. If combo star 8 and 8 in main doors, okay, this will affect the chi flow in the landed home. No, we prefer combo 8, 8 at the main door. It's highly good, so you can consider it's good. If the bedroom is 2-5, what remedy to mitigate? There are several possible of location or solution that you can use. Number one, try to relocate your bed to the others, in the smaller box or smaller tai chi, to relocate the bed in the good directions or good location in terms of instead of 2-5. The second one will be using the metal items or metal related designs to reduce in the room, so that it helps reduce the energy of the 2-5. Now, how big it will mitigate 30% out of 100%, because we are using something materials or the element to control the energies from the universe, which is impossible, but it can reduce a bit, right? If the kitchens are having the 5-2, what tools to mitigate? Same as I said, the possible of the using the question 2, right? Okay, next. Okay, question from Jason. Assuming that the landform are good and excellent environment conform to direct indirect spirit principle, okay, how do we determine which chart is good flying star for high-rise condominium and or landed property? There are total 16 possible flying stars. This is a bit advanced, but let me give you a glance through on this. It's not about flying stars that determines the quality of the house. It's about the environment that determines the quality of the house. You see, the environment, they have their own natural designs that represents the facade of the environment. So building has building own facade. The actual external and landform, they also have their own facade. How do they determine? They will determine by 5 possible of the feng shui perspective. Dragon, in the incoming dragon, the embrace, the water formations, and then the meridian point, also their orientations. So the embrace will be easier to look at. The second one will be the incoming dragons. So if you say that how does it possible to choose the orientations, I would say it's not about flying stars, it's about the landforms. Landform determines the quality of the house within your environment. Okay. There are 4 questions. Okay. So does changing the period 8 to period 9 affect the flying stars existing? What should we be looking at? Now, as I said, mentioned earlier, the period and period 9, they have their own goods, they have their own positive in terms of their energies. Okay, so changing does not mean it's good. Okay, not changing does not mean it's bad. So I'm not sure what is your objective. If your objective has aligned to period 9 charts, then you can consider. If your objective is aligned to period 8 charts, then I will not consider to change the period. All right. My apartment building has an open space car park in front of the north, and most residents will leave or enter from the north. But I have a balcony in east. I have a busy major expressway at the entrance as well. Should the building facing the facing of the building be north or east? I would say it's north. The reason is very simple. The expressway does not mean the way the energy will flows from there towards to the land or development or build or to your building. There will be entrance, right? So the entrance determines a facade, the prominent facade. Okay. If there are good sitting facing stars in the center box of the star chart, how can we tap or use the chi? Basically, you can't use the energy of the center box because the center box represents certain energy which is missing. Example, the star 9 or star 8 inside the center box, right, means that this energy is being trapped. So if you have studied the later part or the previous part, which is we have launched way before the real feng shui, there will be one of the formation called the trapping energy. So this trapping energy is trapped, that means you can't use. So what sort of side effect, you will have to refer that. Okay, next question. Okay, Jason, again, question 5, for main door internal form, we have to allow the good qi from external to enter and circulate around the house before it leaves the house through the windows. Actually, it does not leave the house through the windows, it leaves the house through the other door, okay? So would it be as advisable to have a cupboard sign cabinet shield near the main door? If yes, any difference halfway, how far? Okay, so I will have to ask you back. Does the front door can see the back door or not? If yes, then you might need to have the cupboard or cabinet or whatsoever that help you to mitigate the potential issue. The height will be best will be the full height. Secondary will be the door height. All right. Question 6: if there is a direct line of main door to the dining area, kitchen, or fridge looking inwards from main door, will there be any issues health? It does has a little bit, because due to the door is direct to the kitchens, but it is not a problem if the door is facing or the door is aligning to the dining area. So you have to check which is the alignment. Okay. Ceiling fan in the bed. Okay, I have mentioned already. Yes, it is. If you are referring to that, can the bed positions facing to bedroom door or facing to toilet? Any problem with this? Yes, there is a problem. The energy is not stable because we prefer the yin energies. Yin energies means it's stable. When you're facing the door, facing toilet door, it will be not a stable energy, or it does not calm down. Okay. Okay, Claudia, how am I affected more or by sitting star in my room where I stay most, or by sitting star of my LP? What is LP? Huh? Okay.
LP.
Or Life Palace.
Oh, Life Palace.
Okay. It does affect some sort of energies. This is called the so-called the house energies reading chart. So it does. For a Gua 5 woman, Life Palace is in center or in northeast. The Life Palace is in center. Missing sector can use flying star. Missing sector, you can use flying stars. But if missing in the northwest, basically there will be no flying stars. Can we use flying stars in the house where there are one or two missing sectors? Yes, but we need to look at what is the sector is being missing. So it's missing in the northwest. Basically, there will be no flying stars. And for your information, if any house is missing sectors, there will be no special structures. Example, the double prosperous stars at the front, double sitting stars, there will be no special structures. It's just a normal chart, right? Next. Okay, question from Lok. How do we activate the favorable directions other than trying to use a specific space more often? Can we use a simply orientate our facing towards the directions while sitting at a different area? Basically, it's no, because the energy stays there. So when you use the area, it's better, right? Okay, next. Hassan.
Question from Hassan. 1. How to define building facing landed property? According to example, we should take the most yang side of the house, such as main road as facing. But how about A? Case where the house has a blind wall on main road, no open space for qi to enter, and a high gate that leads to courtyard with a building in L shape. In that case, should we take the longest side of the building as the facing and not the blind wall. B, if the house is far away from the road and sits at the other end of the gardens, which with high edge and no visible of the road from the house, shouldn't we take the most bright side of the house with many glass door and slight slope down as the facing and not the road side? C, if main road has the smallest size of the house but it has window, should we still take this as the facing as long as there is an open space for the chi can enter?
Okay, I think you have too many possible of the ideas on the property of building facing. Actually, it's very simple. It's very straightforward. As long as the property of building facing is facing to most yang, which means, example, there could be a main road coming in or the main facade where you can see the building facade is very prominent, is the facing of the building. That will be the facade already. Instead of like you're trying to say that it could be possible small things. It's not a small thing to determine the house facing. It's a big thing that determines the house facing. Okay, remember, it's not small things to determine the house facing. It is a big things such as the entrance, such as the facade signage of the building. That could represent the orientation of the building. All right. Okay, question 2. How to find out the center of the house or floor and what rule should be applied? I think in the sharing video by Joey has already indicated very clear. So I do not know what is the concern of the your space in terms of drawing the center point. All right. So perhaps you need to refer back to the videos that we have shared. All right. So if you say that according to page 19, a square off took longest and largest plan. Okay, it does go as space. Okay. So page 19. So this is 19. Okay. So page 424, it will be cut into that space. So we will look at the longest, the prominence of the wall. So if you look at the page 19, it's very straightforward. That has no issues that we can determine, no hard time we will determine that possible of the center point. The page 24, because there are more of the sectors which is like sunken in and protruding out, we will look for the prominent line at the center, at the side of the property. Then we draw the square box and draw the center point. It's very straightforward. All right. So once you get practice on more of this, then you will know how to draw this. Okay.
From Olivia, the period of the house is when we move in or when the first people move in. I think you need to recap to the module. Actually, the module is very keep repeat, and then inside in our coaching section, we also keep telling about the period.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Okay. Hong, how to plot the house chi map manually? Okay, if you want to plot chi map manually, you have to buy one of our books. It's named as Xuan Kong Flying Star book or the Pure Feng Shui. Because if I teach you now, it will take another 3 to 4 hours to plot the charts. All right. So what is the house gua? How to determine it? On the last Q&A sessions, you mentioned that there is only one wall can be used if one person's life gua and house gua opposite. I don't get it. Basically, it's referring to the West group and East group's house alignment. So if you are East group aligned, if you are the East group persons and you stay in the East group house, so there are more options of the directions, potential of 3 directions that you can align your directions. If you're West group persons staying in the West group house, then you will have potential of 3 possible that you can align to. But if you are just turning around, example, West group persons staying in the East group house, that means there is only one possible solution one's possible of the directions that you can use, right? So if you want to understand more about this, because we haven't covered this, so you can read to one of our books, which is known as the interior house, the home buyer's interior part, or the house apartment, the home buyer's apartment books. Yeah. Okay, the bedroom and the dressing area are inside the same room, separated by sliding door. Is the dressing room considered part of the bedroom? No, it's not. If you're referring to small Tai Chi, then it's not. Okay. Since North Sector is bad in 2018 in January 3 clinics, do we still activate if the North Sector has positive start? I would say no if you are playing safe. All right. If you're playing safe, no. Okay, next. Okay, question from Stefano. When we apply the small Tai Chi technique, the flying star combination is the same as we have the whole house, just applied to single room, not a flying star arrangement calculated as if the bedroom has independent unit. It's basically the 9 box of the energy arrangement. You just string it and put into the room space. So the room space also has 9 box area. It's that simple. Okay. Okay, question from Chi Seong. I want to do a water activation at the southeast, but happens to be flying stars is 2-5. Will it activate negative star at the same time? The answer is yes. You will still have the side effect. All right. You will get the wealth opportunity at the same time. You will have certain problems. Okay, it does not mean that you will not receive a good results, because this year Southeast is good energies. You will still receive both the wealth opportunities and the problem. Okay, I'm staying in the condo where there are certain external form, example mountain, that cannot be seen from my unit, but it can be seen at some other units. Does that mean I can't receive the energy from the external form? You still can receive. Okay, when there is a hood and cabinet built on top of stove, will it create negative?
No.
I seldom open the balcony window, but there is a mountain view side. Can I still receive the energies? If you open, you can receive. If you can't open, if you do not open but you still can view it, you can tap to it. Receive and tap is different. Correct? Question from Lim. It is mentioned by JY that timeliness is important. What does it mean by timeliness and untimely? Okay, the timely and untimely is referring to the prosperous of certain energies. Example, current is period 8, so all stars number 8, wherever the location is, that will be represented by prosperous energies. The secondary will be star 9 and star 1. So it will be continuous of the 3 stars. Example, if after 2024, the star 9 will be the prosperous, whereby the star 1 and star 2 is the secondary. Okay, so the others are considered untimely. Okay. Okay, so next question from Janet. If the ground floor of an apartment is the lift section, would the main door facing direction be the lift entrance or main gate surrounding the entire level? Okay, so I don't understand about this. Yeah. So would the main door facing directions be the lift entrance?
Is it private lift?
Okay, it's the main door facing. It's not the main gate to the entire apartment. Okay. So Merjam. Hi, considering that in high-rise building, Qi is entering rather from balcony than from the units. Okay, so shall I consider the balcony positions instead of using entrance door positions when plotting the chart? What is the objective? The balcony will have balcony receiving energies. The door also have door receiving energies. So if you are plotting certain charts. I do not know what sort of charts that you are considering of plotting, but the charts of Shen Kong Flying Star charts, it does not consider the balcony or the doors. If you have balcony, you will still receive balcony in terms of energy readings. Door also have doors readings. But if you're referring to your personal energies, for example, you are the house personal energies such as nobleman location, the peach blossom location or intelligence, the main door it's not the balcony. All right. Okay, next. Chan, I have 3 questions. In my home, my family respect on and the ancestor and Buddha. So could you advise what star numbers should locate? Usually it's preferable the stable star or prosperous star such as star 8, 9, or 1, or 6, or 4 also can. All right. What I'm referring is a facing star, right? My business is laundry, which is suitable. Which is the suitable star number to locate this laundry machine? Because machine keep running. It's not about the laundry machines. It's about you. Are you sitting within the unit? If not, then it's not a problem. Basically, laundry machine as like Malaysia, there are a lot laundry machine, but there is no management, so there will be no feng shui. All right. Okay, in feng shui for air, natural or man-made, is there any purpose? This one I'm not sure what are you trying to ask. Perhaps you can try to ask again in layman terms. Okay. Okay, question from Joanne. For condo that has balcony facing another condo and open up to the pool for ground level or has pool level, okay, would the pool act as the external bright hall to chi to the chi at the side of a busy highway? It's yes. Man-made is a yes, but let's say if you don't have external natural landforms such as lakes, such as river, then pool will be considered as the main of the chi collections. Would this unit has better chi compared to those without pool? I can't give you any comparison because I do not know what does the other units have, or in terms of environment being able to view. Okay. Okay, Lilian, if the house or door facing direction is in between North 2 and North 3, which one should I select? What is the objective first? I need to know the objective. Example, if you choose like it's just the facing, then you just take it as North 2 or North 3. If there is other purpose or other application that you want to know, then only I can suggest you on certain part. Example, okay. So or else then you have to stand further away from the door and then see whether it's still North 2 or North 3 or not. All right. Okay. Question from LT. Is it the same person? I don't think so. For the inter-terrace house, generally the house facing and the door facing are the same. So on the software, we will just enter the same, right? Yes, correct. My house facing in North 3 with the door in the North sector. There's another glass door in Northeast. This year, annual flying star is 5 in North, 3 in the Northeast, so means this year I have no other heights. The house of the chi is 7-9 in the North, 9-7 in the Northeast. Oh, the answer is no. Comparing the North and Northeast, I would rather use Northeast. In later part, you will understand the Northeast annual stars is 3, and you have Northeast door, which is the 9-7. 7 and 3 is a combo of 10, which is special for in terms of business related or money related. But there is a side effect in terms of arguments and dispute, and they are the hindrance in terms of the obstacles. So like it or not, you want to take it. If your focus one is money related, then you can use it. All right. I have a wet And dry kitchen, the dry kitchen is hardly used. Does that mean I don't have to worry about the wet kitchen since it is outside? No, you still have to worry about it. If the wet kitchen is outside, there will be certain sectors, right? These sectors will be in terms of reading the sector's energy will also affect it. All right. Okay, next question. Question from Tenny. Is it bad to have sharp edge like table corner, cupboard, wall edge, L-shaped room pointing your bed in your bedroom? Yes, it depends on where is the sharp edge located. If it's right in front of your bed, it is not good. If it's further away from your bed, I would say it's okay. Okay, but at best, if the room is not an L shape. Okay. Is it bad to have a bed's headboard against the toilet wall? I think I've answered before. No, depending on the situation. If the wall is behind the wall is not the bathtub. Module 4 states that the end bed should not be pointing at the door. Does this also means that the main door or just the bedroom door? I believe your bed will be inside the bedroom, right? It shouldn't be at the main door, right? Unless you are referring the so-called what? The suites. Is it the suites? Studio house. If you're referring to studio house, then it will be considered. Or else then it's not an issue. It's not a biggest issue compared to others. Okay. Is it bad to have a bedroom facing door?
Another door.
Bedroom door facing another door. Maybe a bedroom door
or a toilet door.
Or a toilet door. It is an issue, but we have to depend on certain situations. I can't explain too much because there are a lot of theories and realities. I will do a comparisons. Okay. Next.
Boon Sun. Can we put the headboard of the bed at the wall with the room door?
The answer is no.
Maria, course has not started. Hi, I pay for the course but have not been started. What should I do? I'm missing seminar, so on.
Okay, I think this is not a question.
You just start.
Yeah,
you just start your study.
Vivian, since we are moving, my husband eczema skin problem become really bad. Okay, so his study room is in the 2-5, which is northwest. Okay, this could be causing the impact problem. So, yes, there will be there is a potential of causing the issues. You can see the kitchen represents the physical health. Our southeast is 4-3. Kitchen is not an issue, but the stove at the east sector, which is 5-2, is also an issue. So if you can solve these two problems, try to make it. Question 2, our master bedroom is in the east, 5-2. Unlike this, not a good views. The north side of the external, okay. It is facing the pub. We can see the little bit of river. However, the east side, we can also see the TV antennas. Okay, so basically you need to fix the issues of the kitchens, the study room, and the master bedroom. Yes, it is an issue. Right? Are we activating the bed stars? Yes, definitely you are. Vivian, our south sector has 8-8 combo. However, there's a door to the backyard. And just outside the door is patrol, beams. Okay, does the presence of beams negate the good stars? Now, south sector is 8-8. There is a door to the backyard. Okay, so means this stars 8-8 or this door has activated good stars, but it has a beam, so it will have positive and negative effects. All right. My daughter's bedroom has TV antenna pointing to the both directions, front window, back. But we seldom open the curtain. Will this help the problem? It will help the problem in terms of the reducing the side effect of these TV antenna, but however, it does not help in terms of your daughter's personal health, because I'm not sure whether that the room is being is it bright enough or not. Okay, so you need to make sure that it's good in terms of bright. Okay, question from Richard Ong. Hi, when I plot my chart, my favorite sectors are West and Heavenly Doctor. Okay, page 360 view mentions are illness with restore. Personal function energies, but my house, Chi West sector is 9.3. Combo that chats describe leads to lawsuits and liver disease. So at this point, I can still use the West sector and the bedroom to enhance positive short-term view. Okay, it's a good idea. Or better to avoid. You still can use the West sectors. No worry. Okay. Okay, next. Andrew, main door. What if you enter your house by car? Okay, I have answered these questions. Yes, the garage door is considered. The center, I have seen a house, apartment, or high-rise building with courtyard directly in the center of the property. Does this mean the center facing stars activated, or is it only activated
on the
lowest ground floor? That depends on where is your lower ground floor. Is it considered as the so-called what ground? Lowest ground floor is the
first floor. Lowest ground floor.
If the lowest ground floor is covered, then it's considered not a problem. Okay, kitchens. Is it more beneficial to have to the health or occupants that the flow of qi if the kitchen is in a closed, separated area? Because modern design homes open plans, meaning they have living, dining, kitchens space. It depends. It depends on certain situations. The open or enclosed or separated area is not an issue, so no worry. Number 4. Okay, question from Andrew again. Bedroom or bedroom directions is bed sitting south facing north considered bad function? I don't know, because I do not know what is your favorable direction.
Yeah.
Even if the flying stars are good, what will govern?
No.
Precise. There's no such theory based on this. Bright hall versus missing sectors. May I just have to clarify the rules of thumbs on when can a space recess more space in the house be considered a bright hall positive, and when does a space become missing sectors negative? Missing sector means it's not part of the house. So when it's part of the house, means it's part of the house. So in our example, we also have indicate those sample floor plans that indicates that there could be missing sector of the house. If like missing sector means that it forms a small L shape, or there will be internal corner pointing out into the property or into the space or into the house. So this is what we look at. The easier terms of missing sector means that there will be interior corner. That is called missing sector. Okay.
Follow up on second 2, 4.
Okay, 2 and 5. If the center of the property is
will be that the missing sector also or not?
Or will that be a positive or negative answer? No, it's not really in this way. Center is missing, it does not cause any issue. Alright? Next. PCG, do I need to choose specific date to chop off the tree?
Yes.
Surely, office building calculation is the whole building used if only 25% of it is occupied, or the other 25% is used as product storage. Also, do we apply the concept of studying with a salesperson? Okay. If the 25% space will be used as the office, then you use the 25% as the center point instead of the whole building, because 75% is part of the storage area, so it's not using by anyone. So I will not take it as part of the center point. So I will use the 25% space and then draw the center point. And the concept of study, locate the salesperson sector for most ideal. Yes, of course. We don't prefer to locate those people who bring in revenue to locate at the negative sector. Next. Question from Tuck. My bedroom is in a good sector, north, but when I do a small Tai Chi, my actual bed is in the south. Does it matter? No. When there's in the big pictures, it is a good sector, then it's considered good already. All right. It is only when we are only using the small Tai Chi when we are facing the sector which is unpleasant. It's not so pleasant. Okay. Okay. Question from Aurora. To find the center of the chart in case the flag is the very irregular or triangle, do you draw the square or you try to find the center like a gravity center, because could change a lot. Thanks. I will still draw a center. So when I draw a center, there will be certain sector which is slightly overly. Example, if you draw a triangle is like this, so it's like this. So I will just look for the prominent of the center box. There will be 3 location which is particularly strong or overly protrusion. So it represents certain things is overly yang or overly yin, right? So next. Okay, so when taking the main door directions using a proper compass, if you find that there is a lot of interference and the compass needle is between 10-15 degrees at a time, what can you do? Step forward one steps or 2 steps, then you will see the difference. Joanne
is al fresco.
Al fresco, an open space outdoor area considered a missing sector. If it's not part of the wall of your house, yes, it is considered as missing sector, but depends on the situation, all right? We can't be sure because we don't have the picture in our mind. How to activate good stars? By using it or by having the water features. So using is much more effective. The island that is positioned opposite the stove is aligned properly, but not the oven that is below the stove. Is it a negative chi? We don't look at the oven unless your main cooking will be oven. We will usually look at the stove, right? How do I correctly use the small Tai Chi if I have an open concept of kitchen? If you have open concept of kitchens, then you can't use the small Tai Chi. Small Tai Chi is used by the small room, which is covered by a wall. Right? Next. Okay, Yen Xiao, is it bad for either bed or legs facing the bed? Yeah. The answer is yes.
It's bad. Yes.
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 Is it true that the stove cannot face direct towards to the main door? Yes, correct. It is not good. Meaning when I stand at the main door facing in, I can see the kitchen and stove. I have 2 questions. If I cannot shift the stove, what can I do? If you can't shift the stove, then what else can you do? It's not that what can I tell you to do. So I think the question 2 is pretty good. If I create partition between the kitchen and main door, will the chi being blocked to enter?
Yes.
Will the chi block from entering the house?
Oh, no.
Creating the partition between the kitchen and the main door is pretty good. That depends on certain situation. What is the distance between your main door and your kitchen space? All right. So you need to tell us that what are the suggestions that you can provide, and then I will say a yes or no, because I'm not the one who designed your house. So I can't tell what is the distance of the main door and the kitchen.
We cannot imagine what is the situation.
Yeah, there are too many designs.
Yeah.
Tan. Question from Tan. For property investment condo, do we need to consider feng shui? Since we are not staying there, flying stars, blah, 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 so if there is a need to consider feng shui property investment, what kind of external internal factors should consider for? Okay. When we are looking at the investment, of course, we are not covering on this topic, but I can give you a slight information about this. When you're looking for investment property, you need to think what will cause the future tenant to stay there longer. It must be when they stay there, they feel good, and then they will receive in terms of good health or wealth. So we still look at the external environment, such as the existing of mountains, water features, such as so on and so on. We don't look at the flying stars, but we look at the external environment. All right. Okay. Next.
Most important thing is don't buy missing sector one.
Okay. Okay. Question from Andy Pang. For the bed, is the bed head border important, even if the bed mattress is placed near to solid wall? Some people prefer. Okay, it depends on certain situations. Some of them they don't prefer to have header board. It refers to some other ideas that I would think. Depends on, do you have beam under your bed? If there is, then the headboard can help to relocate a bit front of away from the beams. That could help you to solve the issues. If you do not have the beam related issues, without the headboard is fine. That's okay. Okay. Next. Question from Isabel. Would you care to comment a feng shui on new Apple headquarters? No, we won't do these things. Next. Any house chart, flying star in achievement chart results very different. Which to follow?
Achievement house chart.
Now we are using the flying star chart, so I will say flying star first. I noted that from JY Travels, okay, we taught using the 9 rectangle flying stars. Okay, during the course we are taught the 8 quadrants. So which to follow, especially both may tell different numbers. Now, if you have the 24 mountains or the round, the pie charts or 8 quadrants, if you know how to use that, then you use that based on that. If you don't know, that's why the 8 box it's an information, or it's an application where we roughly know where is the location. So if you know, since you know the 24 directions, like because you have taught the charts on your personals, then you use the 8 quadrants.
Yes.
All right. Question 2, when looking at external factors, do we look at the directions of the given quadrants? Note the quadrants getting bigger, and further we look, or just exact directions, north, south, east. Okay. So we will look at the quadrants. The further, the bigger, it's still within the quadrants. In an apartment lower floor, there is a tree blocking the window, but higher floor, the window are not blocked. Will the higher floor subject to external negative? No. As long as it's not blocked, means there's no blockage. All right. Okay, question from Andy again. There is a walking path at the right angle to the window before it turns away when near to a block. Is that a negative form? Walk path? No, it does not. It's not something bad. Question 5. I stay in one resort hotel and noted behind the wall as beach, followed by the sea is a negative forms. Are you going to stay there for a long time, or are you going to stay there for one night? It's a question of how long you stay. One day it won't have effect. If you stay longer, it is a contribution. It's accumulation of energies where it's stable and you get used to it. Then only you will have receiving this sort of energies. Okay, it's not one day then it will affect everything.
Okay.
Next.
Lindsay.
Okay, question from Lindsay. Okay, the question one is the front house is partially facing quiet T junction. However, there is reasonable size trees planted right in front of this part of the house. Could the tree help to block the Sha Qi? It may. Depends on situation. I do not know where is it located exactly, but however, the T junction is not all T junction is the problem, and not all trees that blocking is not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so some trees could cause a problem. It depends on certain situations. Question 2. Most houses that are built in a housing estate are commonly surrounded by other houses. Okay, so the front house will normally be a road opposite. This road will be another house. What type of external Qi influences for this property? Since there are no obvious positive external form being observed.
Wetlands, parks are 5-minute walking distance away.
Okay, but it can't be seen when standing in front of. You see, when you're looking at the external environment, it's not a one point.
Yeah.
It's a big point. We need to look at big pictures.
The
So
environment.
yeah, so if you can't see within your house, do you know the surrounding environment?
Yeah.
The surrounding environment is not a small thing, it's a big thing. So when you understand the big thing, then you know the surrounding environment. So I think what you're trying to say is, example, if I can't see the mountain, very obvious, then you may not be receiving the mountain energies. But however, if you know that there is an existing mountain at a certain distance, so it means you still receive it, but it's not as strong as people compared to people or some other houses who can see it or view it very obvious. Okay. Question 3, apart from the Lake Mountain and consider positive landform, can you please provide more examples of positive landforms? Only mountains, Lake Park, or the hills, that's all. There's no other things.
Yeah.
Lindsay, a straight line from main door to the back door is a negative form. Since you can't change the structure, how do you soften? Do something in between. Partition or cabinet or wardrobes that can mitigate these issues, because it will redirect the energies and flows and then go back out. Okay, so if you choose the back door, okay, so I answer the questions. Question 5, what is the negative implication when the stove faces the corner Sha edge opposite of the wood? Place plant next to the stove help? No, the answer is no. When you're facing means it's a facing problem.
Yeah.
So it could indicate potential, number 1, the stomach issue, number 2, the heart related issues. So in Chinese, we always say 3 heights. Number 1 is the cholesterol height, the
diabetes.
Diabetes is not. It's more of the cholesterol, and then no, it's blood pressure, high blood pressures, and the other one is the other one I think is the one's cholesterol, one is blood pressures, the other one is the I think it's fats. Yeah, fats related. Okay, question 6. It is recommended for a person to sit with a solid bag at the back. If there is a window behind, but there is a wooden fence.
Window.
Okay, so would this still considered as a solid bag? And the answer is no. However, if it's not a fence but it's a mountain, that is considered. Okay, fence is not considered. Okay, next.
Go.
Okay, go. Does it matter when staying in which level or height?
High-rise
in the
building.
Qi map. It does not matter. In the current level of the feng shui, you just plot the same chart.
Yeah.
Okay, in the pro level, which we will be launching soon on the pro level after we consider the beginners, then you will start to know that they are different Qi mapping for high-rise building only. Okay, not for the landed. Okay, next.
Okay.
All right, so let's have a look at the final on-floor question. I know there are lots, so we will try to answer as many as possible because the time-consuming things. Okay. All right, so let's start with Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Yeah, so Tiffany. Okay, Tiffany, if the big drain with water flowing high, low tide main river is situated in front of the parallel of the house, okay, is the road lead to dead end? Is it good? If it is a straight cut of water, big drain, it is not considered good. All right. Okay, next.
Okay.
Okay, question from Sabini. Wow, how many questions? One question here.
One.
4 questions. Okay. Question 1: If an external bed structure's rooftop is sharp rooftop or pylon give a sector, but this part of the house have no opening, no doors, no windows towards the structures, is bed structures have same impact? Yes, there is a same impact. It's not as strong, but it's still a same impact. Question 2: A medium palm tree, about 30 centimeter diameters, is in front of the large bay window. Is this tree prevent the chief enter to the house? If it's not in front of the main door, then it's not a problem. It's in front of the windows, it's not an issue. So no worry, okay? Not all windows can receive energy, and not all doors does receive energies, all right? Okay, question 3 will be how to calculate DNA. I don't know what is DNA. Have I to use my lifestyle directions, life goal directions? I don't know what is DNA.
Not sure.
You can't calculate DNA. Okay, last question is: I recently visited a house with the jacuzzi at the center. Is it also a feature disturb the stability? Now, in general, we don't prefer any unstable features, such as staircase, such as lift, such as water features, such as these 3 parts is most likely we don't really like locate at the center of the house, because in Chinese in Chinese metaphysics, feng shui related, the center of the house represents the heart of the house, where it is being disturbed or it is being not stable in terms of energy flow. It could represent whoever is staying there might have potential of heart-related issues. Okay, so take note of this. Right, next.
Okay.
Okay, question from Melody. How to mitigate 9-7 combo in bedroom? My first question is: do you have any issues? Issues such as the number 1, the health issues or relationship issues. You need to indicate it very clear that only we know what are the things can be affected. 9-7 is basically not a problem because it is a peach blossom related energy or combinations. So if you don't want in terms of this peach blossom or likability, then you might need to somehow not using this room, let someone else using the room. Right, so you need to indicate the problem. Okay, next.
From the ring.
Can you split the floor plan if you have an L-shaped building? Yes, by creating another entrance. Example, so if you have an L shape, so what you need to do is you just cut into half where the L shape ends, and then create an entrance. So there will be 2 spaces. One is the bed space. Example, if you are referring to bedroom, one is the bed space, the other one could be the other space, like wardrobes, like toilet, something else, right? Okay, question from Kim Kyung. Does Qi penetrate through wall if an office has no windows, only air cons, main door closed? Does it means it only receive a bit of Qi? Okay, let me tell you the concept of the penetration of energies. Where we are looking at the bigger pictures, like such as landform, you can try within your homes or somewhere around, where it is surrounded by the mountains, which on the left side, right side of the property has a mountain which is slightly taller. you will find that there will be no strong winds, lesser strong wind. I'm not saying that no strong wind is lesser or is a bit mild strong winds. So that is called a good features. So when you say penetrate, it's like you're trying to say we are invisible people or we are invisible men. Qi cannot be penetrated. It just flow accordingly. It's like the river. If you see rivers like the River Thames or whichever river in Malaysia, like Klang River, it flows according to the boundaries on the mountains. So it flows left to right. That's why it's called meandering flows. It cannot just cut through. When it's cut through means there is no mountain is collecting or no mountain is embracing. That's why when it's embraced, it just flows left to right. So all qi flows according to direction where it controls by certain environment, such as mountain. So same as the house. When you have more space in terms of the cutting, such as partitions, such as the cabinet, the qi will flow according to the space where it allows. So it won't cut through. All right, next. Okay, question from Rachel Tan. Did he mention that who is he? You. Oh. If northwest sector is missing, we cannot apply flying star for the whole house. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
It is yes.
Yeah.
If missing northwest, you will find that applying the Xuan Kong flying star might not be as powerful as the full sectors. What I'm trying to say is, when in the old traditions, according to theories, all flying stars, they will start flying from center to the first sector, which is the northwest. But since northwest is missing, they can't fly. Basically, they can't fly. It's like 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 steps. So they can't fly. That means this house, where missing northwest sectors, will have no flying stars energies. Okay, but flying star is one of the school. So in later on, you will learn getting more and more other schools, such as Sanhe school, such as the Chimen schools. There are other techniques. Okay. Now, question from
Elaine.
Eileen. Our north is the balcony. Okay, there are construction of groundbreaking noise. How to mitigate? You can't mitigate unless you ask the developer to stop the constructions. There are something we cannot control. So what can we do? We can try to activate more of the positive sectors, such as you can use the southeast sectors, because southeast this year is positive. You can also use the northwest, because this year northwest is also good. Okay. The other solution will be keep on activate the positive sectors. So if you have attend one of our annual events, we always told you about the 4 major auspicious sectors. So keep on active in those sectors. All right. DT. Okay, question from DT. If combo 252 falling in the toilet, will the energy be flushed away? You see, the energy will be activated or will be beneficial if you are using the area. So toilet, I don't think you will use in that area for more than 8 hours. So I would think that it's not being activated. If it's in the room or it's in your kitchen or it's in the main door, mainly these 3 will be affected, because when we talk about the house, there will be 3 most important factors: the main door, bedroom, and kitchens. These 3 represents the entire livelihood for whoever is staying in the property. All right. Okay, question from MP Go. When applying small Tai Chi, you see, I like the on floor because the question is very short. Right? When we look at the slides, wow, we have to read the whole things. When applying the small Tai Chi bedroom, will the bedroom door consider as the main door? No. You still applying. You applying the small Tai Chi is to identify which energy is slightly prosperous. Then you can use the sectors. So as I said already, the small Tai Chi only applies to if in big pictures the energy is not so positive. Then you use a small Tai Chi to align back to the small positive Tai Chi. If the big Tai Chi is good, then you no need to. You can skip the small Tai Chi applications. Okay, bear in mind on this. Okay.
Sorry. This is answer. Wait, Elaine.
Okay, question from Elaine. What is the remedy if all my windows can see gaps of building? I stay in a condo, there is a swimming pool in front. Okay, so there's nothing you can do except you can close the curtain when you are using the area. Example, if you are using the area as sleeping area, while sleeping you just close the curtain, but when you're not using, you still can open it. Okay, rather than just keep it closed all the time and then cause no sunlight comes in, it causes a lot of health related issue, emotion related issues. Bear in mind on this. Something we cannot change, we can change a little bit from our internal side, then we just take note on this. All right.
Okay.
Okay, Melody, my house change period when I replaced the roof. My bedroom used to have 9-5 combo, which I suspect to be culprit for my health issue, relationship issue, even finance. Now that it is in the period 8. And houses the combo 9-7. Is it a better combination? Now, if you are referring to the, I'm not sure which period you are in now, because you have given two informations, 9-5 and 9-7. Now, I don't think the combination causes the health related issue or the personal relationship related issues. It could be the interior designs, it could be the external that causing the issues. Because 9-5, yes, the whole combination is not good, but it is not good when it is an active area. If it is an inactive area such as bedroom, then the 9-5 effect is not a bad effect, because it's more using of the sitting styles. So you have to check the design first, number one. Number two is you have to check the in terms of health related issues, you have to check the kitchens. I'm not sure where is the kitchen located. Okay, now if it's a 9-7, 9-7 is very good in terms of the relationship. But if externally there are water in the this 9-7 combinations, that could cause a scandalous related issues. So you need to check first on this. All right.
Okay, maybe we answer a few more questions, then we will stop our coaching section.
Yeah, we will end our coaching folks. All right, so question from Rachel Tan. If we have aircon compressor situated in the sector where it's negative, would it be bad for a house if we turn on the aircons? It depends on situation. If it's on and off, then I would say it does not affect much. If it is on all the time, then I will consider as it is affecting, because the energy is keep on flowing from that. Okay, so question from Anna. The house is in the forest. What is the effect of the large trees on the residents? I can't give you the right answer because it's a very big picture. It is inside forest. Maybe it's a hilly area, so I would think that it has a good feng shui. All right. If having the tree is not in front of the house, then I would say it's pretty good. If it's at the back, I think it's pretty good. It's at the side, I think it's pretty good. As long as it does not block the view of the house to looking at front, because we in the environment we will look at the facing or the orientation of the property. What do you see? Okay, if you see a full of trees, then it is an issue. Except if in front of your property there are a lot of bad features, then having the trees is good. All right.
Wow. Getting more questions coming in.
Wow. I'm sorry that we can't answer all the questions. If you have
last question.
So we will try to put it inside to the list of questions on our next coaching call, and then we will share this related. All right. So keep on sending the questions.
I find a very challenging question first.
Oh, okay. So by the way, you need to understand the energy is not something that can be calculated in terms of anal things. You need to understand the concept of energy flows. So energy flows is not something that we can control, but however, we can realign ourselves. All right. Okay, so final question from Patrick. My bedroom is facing west. Bedroom. Okay. And this year facing bad. Okay. My wife is and I having health issues at the moment. We activated the Tai Shui. What can we have we activated the Tai Shui? What can we do to mitigate? Number one, I do not know regarding the phasing, but bedroom is a location. It's not a phasing. So I think you need to be more clarified on the so-called west sector. Is it location-wise? If it's a location-wise, means your health is being influenced by or affected by the annual stars called the Cygnus stars, which is the two black stars. So if you can move or change room, I would suggest you to change other room, which is better room, such as southwest room, such as southeast room, such as northwest room. If you can't change, then there will be two things that you need to do. Number one, place more metals, which is look elegant, such as the pewters, coppers related in the room using the good days. Number two, this is human activities. Constantly good input intakes or sports or seek doctor advice in terms of that part, because we do not know what could be the cause of issues. All right, I do not even know the combination of the E sectors. It could be E sectors that tells you what sort of things that has been affected. All right. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We have tried our best to speed up our questions, but however, our slides question has been too much. So, so keep sending us the question. We will try our best on our offline to answer your questions by email or whatsoever, or we will have to answer you on the next coaching sessions. All right, stay tuned on this. Recently, I've watched the later modules videos. It's getting more of interesting, which I like. The special one is the module 8. I like it so much. So stay tuned on this. Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
See ya.
Good night.